Well, I guess your dogs are staring at you like mine dogs do, right? Well, maybe my dogs are not such a good example. But here's why your dog is staring. So I'll start with the number one reason, and that's because we basically bred them to communicate with us this way. What do I mean by that? In order to have a good communication between us and dogs, we need them to actually look at us. I mean, if they're not looking at us, they might not see how we behave. They might not see our hand gestures. They might not see our facial expressions, because dogs are actually very good at reading human facial expressions. Yes, we can give them verbal cues, but the visual ones are so much more accurate if you're a dog. So staring at us means that they're actually trying to understand what we want them to do, or they're trying to understand what we are actually doing, and then they can decide if they want to join or if they want to just ignore you completely like my dogs do. So the reason I'm saying that this one is probably the most important one is because when you see how dogs actually behave and interact with each other, or when you see how wolves and other animals interact with each other, you see that the staring behavior is actually not a very common one when we're not talking about aggressive situations, right? I mean, even in people, you will feel uncomfortable if someone is staring you down. Now, don't get me wrong. Dogs will also feel uncomfortable if they see that a person is staring them down, especially if that person is a stranger or someone they're afraid of. But usually between the owner and the dog, there's a good enough relationship that the staring might not actually be considered as an aggressive behavior or as something that will turn the dog away from you. It's not like I'm recommending to do a staring contest with your dog, but I'm just saying that if your dog is comfortable enough with you, staring them is not gonna cause many issues in most cases. Staring at a strange dog, big no-no. But that doesn't mean that a strange dog might not be staring at you if he was exposed to people before, or if he was brought up by people before. And again, that's already a learned behavior. He learns that by observing us, he can actually collect a lot of information. Now, in case you don't know me, I'm Dr. Orion, a veterinarian, and I am a veterinary behavior residency trained veterinarian, which is a whole different kind of veterinarian. There are a few other reasons for dogs to be staring at us. One is attention seeking. Many of them learn unintentionally by us, by the way, is that if they stare at us, we're gonna give them some attention. Good attention, bad attention. If you have kids, you know that sometimes they'll actually do things that they know are bad just because they want the attention. And yes, because they're social animals, they want the attention from us. And another reason, which I already kind of mentioned, is that distance creating behavior, or sometimes just making sure what we're doing in order to be ready. And that might be an aggressive behavior. But it's not just the stare. It will also be the rest of the body posture. So for example, a very tense body while staring is a whole different thing than a very relaxed dog that's kind of like staring at us and might even have their tongue kind of lolling out of the side. I like saying it, lolling. You know that for some reason, many Americans don't even know what lolling means? I'm such a snob. I'm so fluent in English that I know words that even Americans don't know. And I also say aluminium and not aluminum, but that doesn't have anything to do with dogs. The last reason that I'm going to mention as for why dogs stare is curiosity. If the dog is curious, he will stare at whatever attracts him. Basically the same as us. So the bottom line is dogs do stare. In most cases, it's actually something that's a normal and a good behavior, but sometimes it might actually be kind of like a warning sign before they attack. So also tell me if your dog is staring at you and why do you think that happens? And of course, like and subscribe. But in the meanwhile, you can check out this video and learn about so many other behaviors that dogs do and even special senses that they have and we don't.